Hugging Face and Pollen Robotics show off its first project, an open source robot that does chores. And this robot is very interesting. Let's first look at this video. And if you have seen like the Tesla robot and the OpenAI robot, it's maybe not that impressive, but it's still pretty cool. And it's open source. Everybody can download the code for that. So let's look into that here.
Okay, Reachy, take my cup, please. I'm going home. Thank you.
You want to do that?
Hi, Reachy, can you give me the apple, please? Thanks.
Right? I mean, it maybe looks very simple compared to all the other things that we've already seen, but it's still pretty cool. And what I really love is how they have trained it. Now you can see what I think the first thing I saw when I was watching this, why is he shaking so much? Right? It looks like he's really shaking a lot. Why you would expect a robot to have just one smooth movement, right? Robotic movement, but he looks like really shaky, which was kind of interesting to see. But what was really cool is how they have trained this robot. So let's look into that down here. The robot was initially teleoperated by a human wearing virtual reality headset who controlled it through the various chores, including placing cups on a dish rack and handing an apple or other object to a person safely and smoothly. Then a machine learning algorithm studied 50 videos of the teleoperation session in VR, each around 15 seconds long, before learning how to do the various chores on its own. So you basically have a human who does all of that, and then the machine learning algorithm watches that human for a couple of repetitions from various angles, and then he teaches this to the robot how to do that. Now, it sounds like a little bit tedious to do every single thing that you want to do, but at the same time, it also is an amazing process because you could just record the chores that you want the robot to do in a household, and then you can just have your own robot who does small household chores for you. Maybe not very fast, maybe it looks a little bit clumsy, but hey, the robot does it. So that's pretty amazing in my opinion. If we look down, first let's go into here, which is the open source aspect, and I really love that. We open source this data set on Hugging Face with Pollen Robotics as well as the model we trained and used for the demo. It's all open source. Isn't that cool? Hugging Face's little robot is likely to place pressure on the rival robotics providers due to the fact that it's offering its technology essentially for free. The brains of the robot, at least in the form of sharing open source robotic codes on its community on GitHub. And this is really the huge selling point. It maybe looks a little bit more clumsy than the Tesla robot or the OpenAI robot, but it's completely open source. You can download this code on GitHub and put it into your own robots that you buy or build or whatever. And this is so cool. This is, yeah, I love that. And I'm sure you all here love that as well. Pollen Robotics is also committed to ethical practices, ensuring that its technologies are accessible to everyone under open source licenses, producing durable and repairable products, and rejecting military funding. This is also a cool statement here. They reject military funding and make sure that everything is under open source licenses. And then here's another video. I mean, it's clumsy when we look at that, but still, let's watch it. It's still cool, even though it's clumsy. Now you see how he can even give it. He didn't quite read it, but now he did. And open the pen, which are very precise movements. Reachy is his name, so he writes his own name. It looks a little bit, I mean, it looks better than my handwriting. I'll be honest here, it looks better than my handwriting. The robot has better handwriting than I do. Now he's folding. I mean, having your robot fold, I lost the pigeons, yeah, but having your robot fold your laundry would be cool. It doesn't look like he's quite there yet. It looks a little bit not that great, but he's trying. He can pack your bag. It's funny to see. I mean, yet from having any real applications, but it's still cool to see. And it's just getting started, okay? It's just getting started, and I think this is a pretty good, cool start. And you can see him shaking. Why is he shaking so much? This is interesting to me, why he's shaking so much. Right. Robot training here, a little robot workout, right? And this is very, very precise movement here. Fitting a key into a key lock is very precise movement. So it's pretty impressive that he can do this. I think this is the most impressive. This here really impressive. And this is the most impressive of all the movements. And yeah, opening an umbrella so the robot doesn't get too wet. Now we all need to understand that moving our hand is extremely, extremely complex. So these movements are actually very impressive, even though they look clumsy, but you need to think it's just the beginning, and moving our hands is freaking complex. Look at all of these moving parts here. Of course, it's really, really stupidly simple for us because we just live like this. We have been doing this for all of our lives. But this takes up a lot of real estate in our brain, a lot of real estate. And programming this is really, really complex. So while it looked very simple and a bit clumsy, it's actually quite impressive what they've done here.